All right. Firstly, we'll look into built-in data types, and inside that, we'll see how to set a data type and how to change the data types of numbers. Okay, numbers, characters, whatever it is. And lastly, we'll see what are the Python numbers. All right. Firstly, we'll see built-in data type. Okay. Now you can see that by default, if you don't mention the data type of a content or the data type of any input, the Python will take it as character or it will take it as a string. Okay, even if you type in numbers, if you don't mention integer and after that, if you don't mention the numbers, it will take it as string itself. Okay, so string is the default data type. All right. Next is numerical. Okay. In numerical, we have three types. One is integer type, one is float, and the other one is complex. Complex is nothing but 1i plus 2j. Okay, that is the complex. All right. And then next is the sequence type. So whatever you want the data to be in list form. Okay. Suppose you're making a list and you want it to be displayed in the list form, you're going to use either list or tuple or range. Okay. Any three of these will be used. All right. And then you have the mapping type. That is DICT. That stands for dictionary. Okay. So what DICT does is, suppose you are going to write information about a particular thing. Suppose apple. Okay, what you'll write is apple belongs to the type fruit, right? So you'll write fruit, you'll give the colon and you'll write apple. Okay, so you're writing it when you're making tables, this is used. Okay, the heading is fruit. Under fruits, what are there? Apple is there, banana is there, you're going to list them. Okay, so it is in the form of map, right? First is fruit, under fruit there is apple. Okay, these are the types. And then is set type. Set type is what type of set is it? It is a character set. Is it a integer set? Okay, that's it. Then next is the Boolean. Boolean, you know, true or false. If the return value is 1, it shows that it is true. And if it is false, the return value will be 0. Okay, that is the Boolean type, bool. Then next is binary types. How the size is being mentioned in bytes, byte array or memory view. All right. And the next is none type. It is not of any data type. All right. We don't have to mention any data type. It is like void in C. Okay. Any doubts? Okay. Yeah. Good that there's no doubt. Then inside the inbuilt data types, we have the first type, that is getting the data type. Now, you can see that in the example 1 over here, I'll just make it in bold and red color. Okay. You can see that x equals to 5. We are not giving any data type to that x, right? X is equals to 5. I'm just giving it directly. I'm not mentioning it is a string. Is it a integer? Is it a floating value? I'm not mentioning it over here, right? And directly in the print, I'll write type of x. Now, what this print statement will do is, it will type in the data type of the x. That is, the data type of 5 will be printed. Okay. We'll quickly copy this code and put it on our online compiler, Python. I'll just move the screens. I'll just quickly run this code and see what the answer will be. Okay. See, I told you, right? I'm not mentioning any data type for the X. Okay. And below this, in the print statement, I am asking this computer to print me what type of data it is. Okay. So it is of the type integer. All right. 5 is an integer. So what type is it? Integer. It is being printed over here. Clear? Any doubts in this code? It is a very simple code. We're just going to make use of the type. Okay. Any doubts regarding this? Please let me know in the chat box. I'll explain again. Okay. I'll go back to my presentation. Yeah. Okay. Here is another example. In this time, we are going to send the input as string. All right. We'll move our screen and we'll see what it is being printed as. Okay, we'll just run it. Yeah. Okay, now you can see I just added print X over here to print what hello world is and what data type it is. It is a string. So it is being displayed over here. All right. Any other doubts? Now we'll try with the floating type. Okay, 2.3. It is still taking it as string. Okay. Now, it is taking it as string because the Python language and Java doesn't have the concept of floating values. Okay. To use that, we are going to write it in this way. Okay. Integer, float, and complex. We have 3 types of numbers, right? So, the first, with this example, I'll tell you all the 3 types. I'll just copy this code. I'll just type in y is equals to 2.3. Z is equals to y plus j. All right. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. We are getting an error over here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, or else I'll just copy the code. All right. Now you can see that I have given the x value as 1, y value as 2.8, z value as 1j. Okay. In the before ones, what I did was I put this 2.8 value in the double quotes. So if I put it in double quotes, it will take it as string. See, whatever is mentioned under the double quotes will be taken as strings. Now if I remove the double quotes, it will print it as float. Okay, clear? This is how you will be learning how to get the data type of the value without mentioning it. Okay. Any doubts in this code? Okay. All right. Okay. Here, see, in this code, what we'll be doing is, we'll be converting integer values into floating values, and floating values into complex values, and complex values into integers. Okay. To do that, see, first we are going to mention what x, y, and z value is. Okay. Then we are going to take 3 more variables, that is a, b, and c. What we are going to do is, we are going to mention that I want x value to be floating value. All right. I want to convert integer value 1 into floating. Okay, so I have to mention a is equals to float of x. Now, in the next b, I want the integer value of y. We have it in floating, but I want to convert it into integer value. All right, this is it. Next, there is the c. Okay, now I want to convert this complex integer. I want to change this integer into complex number. Okay, so c is equals to complex of x. Okay, we are going to print ABC, and we are going to print the type of A, B, and C. Okay, we'll just write it down. We'll not copy the code, we'll write it down. Okay, all right. Instead of this over here, we have A, B, and C. All right. After this, what we have? A is equals to, I want to convert integer value into floating. So FLO, float of x. All right. I want my float value, that is b, to convert into integer. Okay. This is y. All right. Now I want c. I want my x value, that is integer value, to convert into complex value. So I write complex, given x. All right. Now next, I'm going to print ABC values. Okay. If I don't print ABC values, how will you know that to what value these data types are? Okay. So first, print A, print B, print C. All right. Clear, everyone? I'll run it now. Okay. Now you can see A value 1 is converted to floating value 1.0. All right. Y value, that is the floating value, is converted into integer value. Okay. And Z 1 plus 0j. I'm converting integer value 1 to complex value. Okay. Now the same is mentioned over here. It is floating, it is integer, and it is complex. All right. Go through this code once and let me know if you guys have any doubts in this one. Any doubts? No? Okay, good. We'll go back to our presentation. Yeah. Now, Okay. So random numbers. All right. This is a little different concept. Okay. What random number is telling you here is, I am going to generate, suppose I want 5 numbers to be generated by the computer. Okay. I will ask the computer to give me 5 random numbers. Okay. How will I do that? We'll look into this example. We're going to import random here. Okay. So now random is a inbuilt module, or else you can say it is a library that consists of many built-in programs. Okay. So when we import this particular library into our code, it tells us that there is a function in this library that we need to generate random numbers. Okay. In this one, we are making use of range. Okay. I told you range is one of the built-in functions. Okay. In this one, we are making use of random range. Okay. What this random range is going to do is, this random range is first of all a part of the random library. Okay. So we are going to mention random first. And inside this library, we are going to take random range. That is a function. Okay. So that is why it is being denoted as random range. And inside the brackets, I am telling the computer to give me any random numbers between 1 and 10. So that's why range 1, 10 is being mentioned. Okay. Now, if you want your range of numbers to be between 20 and 100 or 10 and 100, okay, you'll have to write here 10. And over here, you have to write 100. Okay. It will generate you any random numbers between these two numbers. All right. I hope you guys are clear with this example. I'll just quickly run it to show you guys how it will work. All right. Yeah. I'm going to copy this. Move my screen. Yeah. I'm going to replace it with this. Yeah. Okay. I told you, right? It will generate a random number between 1 to 10. So it has generated 2. I'll run it again. See, it is generating 6. Again, 7, 4, 7. Okay. No matter how many times you run the same code, it will generate you random numbers, but within the range of 1 to 10. The number will not exceed 10 or it will not be less than 1. Okay. Clear with this concept? Okay, I'll give 2 minutes of time. If anybody has any doubts, please let me know in the chat box. Okay. Any doubts regarding any of the examples before and this example? If there is any doubt, let me know in the chat box. I'll give 2 minutes of time. Okay. Okay, I am assuming that we don't have any doubts over here. I'll quickly show you all the slides again. I hope everyone is clear with the built-in data types. How to get the data types when we have not mentioned it in declaration. And what are the 3 types of Python numbers? Int, float, and complex. How are we going to get the data type of each one in the code? And we have also seen the example where we are going to mention the numbers and we are going to assign them to a variable, and how we are going to change the data type of each number into the other. Okay. And finally, we are printing the new ones and we are also getting the data type of the new numbers. All right. And the last concept we had studied was random number. Okay. It uses random, that is a library. We are going to import a library which has various built-in functions or it has various built-in methods. We are going to use this random function to generate random numbers. And in the following example, we have used the random library and we are going to use random range. That tells us that I want my random number that is generated to be between the range of 1 to 10. Okay, this was it. Now we'll look at few examples. Okay, first example will be to generate palindrome sequence. Okay, now we'll write a code to generate a palindrome number. All right. So first, to write a code, you need to know what a palindrome is, right? Suppose the number is 1 to 1. It can be read in both ways, right? If I start reading it from left to right, it is 1 to 1. And if I start it backwards, that is 1 to 1. Again, okay? So this is the palindrome. Okay? Now I want to write a code which will ask the user to give me a number. And I will check, or the computer will check, whether that number is palindrome or not. Okay, we'll quickly write the code for that. Okay, firstly, what we need to do is ask the user to give us input in integer form. Okay, so what I'll do is number is equals to, I want my input to be in integer form. So integer and input. Inside this, I'll ask them enter a number. All right. Okay. Next is, we are going to use this. Okay. Yeah. Now you can see that my code is on the left hand side and the output is on the right side. First, we look into the code. As you can see that in the first line, we are asking the users to give us an input. That is, give us a number that is in integer form. Okay? We are specifying it because I told you if the data type is not mentioned, by default, it will take string as the data type. Okay? So whenever it is compulsory that the input should be a number, you have to mention as to you want integer or float. All right? Done with the first line? Next. Now, we are going to consider this number that is an integer as string. Okay? I've shown you in the code before the conversion of data types. Okay, we are using it over here. And the number is being denoted as VAL. That stands for value. Okay? Yes. I hope everyone is clear with the line number 2. In the third line, we are using if statement. Okay. What we are saying is if the number or if the input that is given to us is equals to the input, which shows that if it is read from left to right or from right to left, then the number is palindrome. Okay. The right to left and the left to right is mentioned using the 2 colons and -1. Okay. That is necessary if you want to go backwards. This step is necessary if you want to read the number backwards. All right. Now, if this condition is satisfied, we are going to print on the screen that the number is palindrome. Okay. Suppose this if condition is not satisfied, we go to the else statement. Okay. What else statements tells us? It tells us that the given number is not palindrome. All right. Now it is done. Our main function of the program is done here. Now, this for loop tells us that if the given number starts from 0, I equals to 0, and if I is less than value and I is being incremented, okay, and the size of n number or the size of the input that we have is restricted to 10. Okay. Then there is another if statement. If the count, now see, every iteration, after every iteration, when we apply the count, it keeps counting the number of iterations. Okay. If the number of iteration is more than 0, then it will print as this. This following number appears these many times. Okay, I'll run it. I'll run the code now. On my right hand side, I'll show you. Suppose I'm writing 1, 2, 2, 1. Okay. See. Okay. This number is palindrome. Okay. Now, how many times 1 appears in this number? 2 times, right? That is what is being displayed. I told you, every time we have an increment in the number, it keeps on counting. Okay. So how many times 1 has appeared? It has appeared 2 times. And how many times has 3 appeared? 2 times. Okay. Now, instead of that, I'll give 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Even if you read it from left to right or right to left, the number is still a palindrome. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay. It is a palindrome. Now see, 1 is appearing 2 times, 2 is appearing 2 times, and 3 is appearing 1 times. Okay. Clear with the code? Now I want you guys to go through the code once again, compare it with the output, and let me know if you have any doubts. Okay, don't hesitate to ask me. If you guys have any doubt, let me know in the chat box. Okay. or else I'll run it once again and I'll show you one that is not a palindrome. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is not a palindrome. I'll enter. See, it is not a palindrome, but in this one you can see that the number of count, that is 1 appears one time, 2 appears one time. The count is not stopped here because this part of the code that is counting is not a part of palindrome function. Okay, it is outside the palindrome function. So whether your number is a palindrome or it is not a palindrome, doesn't matter. Okay, now if you copy it and inside this, if you paste it over here, okay, now if you run it, okay, wait. Yep. Yeah. Now you can see that if you try to put it inside the code, it is showing me an indentation error. I'll just look into what is the mistake. I'll let you guys know. Okay. For now, just go through this code and tell me if you guys have any doubts. Okay. Yeah. If you guys have any doubts, don't hesitate to contact me or sir. And that's it for today's class. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.